Hello everyone, and welcome to Tactical Safety. This video is about an incident that happened, I guess it was yesterday or the day before, in Decatur, Georgia. Young man was on his way home from school, stopped to get something to eat, and got shot to death. If this doesn't tell you that you need to exercise your Second Amendment rights at all times, nothing will. Check this out.
First, a Lithonia family is heartbroken tonight after somebody shot and killed their loved one in the parking lot of a Waffle House. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Tom Haynes.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Someone shot and killed Khalil Goss outside the Waffle House on Flat Shoals Road earlier this week. Police are still looking for the gunman. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor talked with the young man's family about the devastating loss.
Khalil Goss's family tells me the 24-year-old had a routine. He went to EMT school, he would come here to the Waffle House where he worked to eat, then he would head home. But they say that routine was violently interrupted on Wednesday.
Khalil doesn't talk. He's to himself. He's real quiet, real chill.
Family members say they were floored when they got the call that Khalil Goss was killed. They say the 24-year-old was leaving EMT school and headed to Waffle House where he worked as a cook just to get a bite to eat. His family tells me his co-workers let him into the restaurant, which angered other customers who could only order from the window.
They wouldn't let them in because they were closed and you had to order at the window. But they opened the door for Khalil because he was the cook, and they kind of pushed the other two guys out.
Once Khalil, who graduated from King High in 2017, got ready to head home, the angry men were still outside and opened fire on the 24-year-old as he got in his car.
They started shooting, ran up to his car, started shooting inside of the car. The waitress was telling him to get out the car and to run in the back door. She's like, come to the back, come to the back. And he tried to make it to the back, and then they started shooting him in his back. So she said he was stumbling and he fell.
The family says Khalil's departure and at least part of the attack is on video. DeKalb police confirm the son and brother was not armed. His family says he tried to dismiss the irate men.
Could you see it in your heart to forgive the people that killed you?
No, I cannot. It was too malicious. Like I said, you didn't stop. It was no point that you stopped. No point that you stopped. And even now, it's no point. You're not even turning yourself in.
DeKalb police are actively working this homicide. They say there are two shooters and both are on the run. In DeKalb County, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
All right, so you heard that craziness. So the young man went to Waffle House to get something to eat, and they said the restaurant, the inside was actually closed and everyone had to place their orders at the window. So these two idiots, these two cowards were mad and jealous because they let him in because he's an employee there. So of course they're going to let him in. And then, but when he got ready to leave, these cowards were waiting for him outside. That's why it is so important to always be armed. And you have to always maintain situational awareness. Like I tell my students in my firearms classes, you have to have the tactical mindset. The first rule of the tactical mindset is to be aware of your surroundings. Always. If he had been aware of his surroundings, he would have seen those guys outside. And then his family even said he was unarmed, which is a shame. Because if he had been armed and he noticed that they were outside, he could have either stayed inside or gone outside and engaged them and terminated those threats before they were able to engage him. But you need to always exercise your Second Amendment rights. The Second Amendment is there for a reason. Any of these politicians that try and tell you that you don't need firearms, they need to be voted out. If you don't want to exercise your rights, hey, that's your business, but don't infringe on my rights. The Second Amendment was written for a reason. It was ratified in 1791, which a lot of people don't know. And the thing about it is that if you willingly give up your rights, then it's almost impossible to get them back. Because if you give up your Second Amendment rights, then next thing you know, they're going to try and come for your First Amendment right, which is freedom of speech. And the Second Amendment was written to make sure all the other amendments stay in place. When they wrote the Constitution, they had the broad description. They said arms. They didn't say muskets. They didn't say black powder. They didn't say any of that. They said arms, which encompasses all categories of firearms. So any of these politicians that tell you, oh no, you don't need a gun with a 15-round magazine. No, no one needs that. No, you may not need it. I'll get it because I want it. If I want to go out and buy 50 30-round magazines, that's my business. I can do that because that's my Second Amendment right. And you have no right to question me and what I buy. No matter where you live, evil can approach you anywhere. You can live in the nicest of neighborhoods and you never know when you're going to encounter evil like this young man did. So you need to always carry a firearm. And I tell people all the time, when you get a new firearm, when you get a new holster, you have to practice your draw. I have a bunch of different holsters and a bunch of different guns, and I'm proficient at my draw with every single one of them. And also, it wouldn't be a bad idea to carry a secondary weapon or a secondary magazine. A lot of people do that. But you always have to be aware of your surroundings. So remember to stay armed, stay vigilant, and stay tactical. We'll see you next time.